Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the show. It is Monday, March 10th, and we have, well, you know what? We've got a whole lot of FAFO for you today. Okay, so the show is going to be filled with, Trump supporters who maybe have some regret, all right, um, or who may think about regret. We're also going to talk about Trump take egg. So that's going to be a fun and interesting story. We got the FEMA freeze. We're talking about that and the fallout. And of course, we also have some regrets about some threats that were sent by a Florida man, a Trump supporter. Big shocker, big surprise, as always. So, oh, good. We do. Yeah, we got somebody from Florida and we got a Florida story. So how does that work out? Pretty good. Also pretty terrible, in a way, because you know I would feel let's just say I wouldn't feel at home living in Florida. So, but there are a lot of good people there, a lot of progressives, a lot of really nice people living in Florida. It's just you're outnumbered by the chuds, so that sucks. But anyway, got a fun story for you on that one. Um, but before we do, please like and share the stream. Very important that you do so. Helps us out. As always, we need your help more than ever. Under the Trump regime, progressive media is being starved and destroyed, and so it's not going well. So if you can sign up to help, patreon.com/Jeff Waldorf, or become a member on this YouTube channel by hitting the join button below. You help to make sure that we're around to cover the Trump administration and as well as deliver some FAFO stories that you all enjoy. So please consider becoming a member or becoming a patron and helping us out that way. With that said, why don't we start out with some leopards? Okay, plenty of leopards here. Trump voters in North Carolina are dealing with the consequences of their votes after the president froze all disaster aid funding through FEMA, the Federal Emergency Management. Now, in an article from Sunday entitled Trump Vowed to Help the NC Mountains Rebuild After Hurricane Helene, frustration remains. Shocker. Shocker. The Washington Post highlighted bridges in the state that are littered with crushed cars, houses knocked off their foundations, and thousands of downed trees, and accompanied by signs that read, "Trump, make this bridge great again." Yeah. 5 months after Hurricane Helene, they write, about 300 privately owned bridges in this county have yet to be fixed. While Americans typically rely on a mix of state and federal aid in the wake of disaster, the recovery for many here has become akin to a personal test of their relationship with President Donald Trump. Personal test of you don't have a relationship with President Donald Trump. He does not give one flying F about you. Okay? He does not care. Thinking that Donald Trump, or most politicians for that matter, thinking that they care about you is a lot like thinking that the stripper is into you. Okay? They're not. Okay? He's just not into you. And he's not going to help you. All right? Now, the story quotes some locals who have been affected by the disaster, including Gary Hicks. Gary Hicks had been critical of Biden's response, okay, to the disaster and voted for Donald Trump. Hicks and four of their families have been trying to figure out how to come up with the estimated $200,000 it will cost to replace the bridges. Even if a small rain shower can make the river rise, stranding their cars, the report states. With Biden, Hicks said there was no hope of getting things done. He voted for Trump, but he's still waiting. Yeah, he's going to be waiting for a very long time. Okay. Look, the guy had it backwards. Under Donald Trump, there is no hope. Trump has frozen funds that have already been approved by Congress and has talked about openly with doing away with FEMA. Now, he can't do that without an act of Congress, but he's doing the next, I guess, best thing, which is to deprive it of funding. Trump and his allies also targeted the agency in the wake of Hurricane Helene, spreading lies that FEMA under Biden was diverting disaster money to undocumented immigrants. That's right. Failing to provide helicopters, limiting aid to $750 per person, and cutting off support for Republican areas. None of that was true. None of that was true. But of course, they believed it anyway. But here's the reality. Over the last 4 years, FEMA has provided more than $12 billion to individuals and $133 billion to state and local governments, tribal nations, territories, and some nonprofits in order to help with recovery efforts. Yes. Is FEMA perfect? No. Okay, no. But ironically, one of the bigger problems now with FEMA, and again, it's come a long way since Hurricane Katrina, which was a complete and utter disaster, a shit show. All right. But now they've gotten a lot better. All right. So, one of the big problems now facing FEMA, aside from Donald Trump's assault on it, is that it's been having to increasingly take the role of flood insurance. Why? It's because you have these companies, and not just flood insurance, right? But other types of insurance in these disaster prone areas. Now, Florida is a great example of that. Do you know the home insurance market is completely collapsed in the state of Florida? Why? Well, climate change. Hurricane season happens to be longer and more deadly now. And so these insurance companies are packing it up. They're saying, we can't make money here. There's too much disaster. All right. We got to go. Now, here's the other thing, right? You might not believe in climate change, but guess what? Your insurance company sure does. Just something to note. And as they leave, FEMA gets counted on more and more to help repair the damage. But now Donald Trump is saying, let's get rid of that. Let's let the states handle it. Yes, that's right. Now the states are saying, whoa, what? No, we can't handle that. No, it's too much. We don't have the resources. Lynn Budd, director of the Wyoming Office of Homeland Security, said in an interview with Stateline, quote, I don't think it makes sense to get rid of FEMA. There are economies of scale that a nationwide agency provides. States don't have that capability built to handle a disaster every single year. So, yeah, Gary, help ain't coming, buddy. Not under Donald Trump. Now, Vermont State Senator Ann Watson, who is a Democrat, by the way, has been involved in the state's recovery from the 2023 floods, said FEMA has been an absolute lifesaver for people. I don't see states and municipalities being able to replicate what FEMA does. The possibility of it going away leaves millions and millions of Americans in a very vulnerable position. Now, here's the big irony, though, right? So Trump's talking about, oh, we got to get rid of FEMA and, we've got to stop sending money to, that they're going to misspend or whatever. The irony here is that red states have actually been needing and receiving the most federal aid. Yes. Since 2015, residents in Florida, Louisiana, and Texas have received the highest amounts of individual assistance payments from FEMA, exceeding $2 billion in each state. And there it is. Okay. But thanks to Donald Trump and Elon Musk, they're not going to get any more funding. All right. This is what voting against your best interests looks like. But don't worry, though. All right. The money that Donald Trump is saving by illegally freezing FEMA funds will end up going to finance his tax cuts for the rich. So, I mean, it'll work out. I mean, not for you. It'll work out for him because he'll save more money in taxes. So, yeah. And by the way, yes, it is illegal. Donald Trump has been ordered several times by a judge, several judges, actually, to release the funding, and he continues to refuse to do so. In fact, the agency announced on Friday that it is canceling all in-person training offered by the National Fire Academy, which provides free training for fire and emergency services personnel to ensure that the country is prepared for the next climate-related disaster. Well, there you go. That would be why. It has to do with environmental justice. That's right. DEI. The wokers. It's the woke. We got to cancel it because it's too woke. Okay. Well, there you go. Look, Donald Trump doesn't believe in climate change. So if your state burns or drowns or gets blown away, well, that's a sad day for you. Shouldn't have been so woke then. According to the Daily Beast, New York, New Jersey, and Vermont were told by the administration to stop working on federal flood protection activities related to environmental justice. California and Michigan are not able to access pre-approved grants or loans, and FEMA is not reimbursing Washington State for disaster recovery. Why? All of this is part of his ongoing efforts to try to make sure that federal programs align with his administration's priorities, which, of course, his administration's priorities are to own the libs. Yeah. Look, at the end of the day, getting back to Gary, okay, you and your friends, y'all voted for this. You bought the lies, hook, line, and sinker, the conspiracy theories, and put a man into office that will not help you. And by the way, if help does eventually come, and I hope it does, because I'm not a heartless person, okay, it will be because of blue states that have been suing the administration, which they currently are, as well as Obama-era judges who will, at the end of the day, force him to help the very people that put him into office in the first place. I bet Trump voters got their Pikachu faces on right now. Oh yeah, I know, right? 100%. All right. Let's move on here. I got all sorts of these today. A gay Republican is fuming online after the Republican Party has renewed its assault against same-sex marriage. Jordan Ramsey writes, to all the Republicans trying to make same-sex marriage illegal, I am a gay married man and a Republican. I am pro-life. I am pro-Second Amendment. And I voted for Trump. Just because we are in charge right now doesn't make it okay to go back to the old Republican ways. That is going to ruin the momentum that Trump and us Republicans have and only boost the liberal momentum. It's not the same Republican Party it used to be. Get over it. I love being a Republican and would never be a Democrat. But reverting to the old ways will only ruin the party. I honestly can't believe I'm seeing the news of several states trying to get the Supreme Court to overturn same-sex marriage. I'm a Republican through and through, and I hope I always will be. But doing this will only push me and other people like me out. I gotta note that the log cabin Republicans have never been welcomed in the party. They have always been pushed out. And yet, they refuse to leave. Okay. There must be something, I don't know, alluring about tax cuts or something. I don't know. I mean, imagine being a gay Republican in this day and age, or any. I mean, but they exist. They exist. Now, The Guardian notes that Republicans in red states all across the United States have been pushing a lot of anti-LGBTQ plus measures targeting same-sex marriage. Yes, that's right. with an aim of ultimately securing a Supreme Court ban on the federally protected right. They said, oh, he's not going to go after same-sex marriage. He's not going to go after a Obergefell. What are you guys talking about? You guys got TDS. Oops. Now they're going after a Obergefell. Shocker. It's just like we said, or they said, don't worry, we're not going to go after abortion rights. No, those are in the no, those are protected by the 14th Amendment. They're not going to come after Roe. Don't worry, you guys got TDS. Oh no, they went after Roe. Yeah, exactly. The recent wave of Republican-led bills targeting same-sex marriage comes amid a second Donald Trump presidency in which his administration has taken on a more emboldened attacks against LGBTQ plus communities across the country, as seen through a flurry of executive orders he signed assailing various LGBTQ plus rights. In Oklahoma in January, a day after Trump's inauguration, the Republican state senator Dusty Devers, I don't know, why does that sound like a porn name? I don't know. I mean, it'd be better if it was Dusty Beavers, but still. I'm just saying. Dusty Devers. Okay. He introduced a series of bills targeting LGBTQ plus rights. Among them, something called the Promote Child Thriving Act. Now, basically, it would establish a $500 tax credit per child for a mother and father filing jointly, and is escalated to $1,000 if the child was born after the marriage of the parents. Oh, so this is some social engineering going on here. Okay. Oh, yeah, no, we're going to encourage, mothers and fathers getting together, having kids after they get married with tax breaks. Now, describing the bill, Devers said there is no greater factor in the well-being and future success of a child than whether they grew up in a two-parent household with their mother and father. It's not even close. Actually, children of same-sex couples, same-sex relationships grow up to be happy and healthy as well. So, no, it doesn't just take a mother and a father. It could be a mother and a mother. It could be a father and a father. It really is just a two-parent household that sets you up for success because you actually are able to spread the work around and you're likelier to have a more stable income. That's really what guarantees success here. Stable income and parents that are able to devote time. Doesn't have anything to do with the genitalia of said parents and whether or not you're biological. Right? But anyway, that's that. He added, I know not everyone benefits from this act, which is kind of the point, but everyone should support what is good for kids. And growing up with one mother and father is, in the vast majority of cases, the most important factor in a child's well-being. Not really. In response to Devers' bill, the Tulsa-based pastor Randy Lewis of the All Souls Unitarian Church told News Channel 8, I have a non-traditional family. My partner's kids are not mine. So it would be one of those situations. My kids aren't biologically my partners. We'd be one of those situations where we're eliminated from the grant process. Now, another Republican Oklahoma state senator, David Bullard. Dullard? Whoop, that's a Freudian slip on my part. Now, he introduced a similar bill that would offer a $2,000 child tax credit per child, only for married couples with biological children from the marriage. So no adoption, by the way. This leaves out people who actually go and adopt children. Wait. Isn't adoption supposed to be one of those things where, don't do abortion, do adoption? Well, then why no tax credit for children? We know what they're trying to do, okay? Now, Bullard said that it was introduced to challenge the Supreme Court's 2015 decision in Obergefell v. Hodges that declared same-sex marriages as legal across the U.S. So this guy's actually being super open about it. Quote, really what we want to do is challenge that concept and see if we can get to Obergefell. Bullard said. And there it is. It's literally just right there. They are telling you exactly what they're doing. Okay. And I think that's kind of what we're pushing at all the way around the board with a bill like this, is to actually go straight at Obergefell and say, no, the Constitution protects my right, my freedom of speech, my freedom of expression, my freedom of religion to disagree with same-sex marriage. The reality is we have to push back on Obergefell. And there it is. Of course. There it is. I mean, they're just saying, yeah, we're coming for same-sex marriage, guys. That's the plan. That was always the plan. And now we're doing it. There you go. In Idaho, Republican state lawmakers passed a legislative petition last month in which they called on the Supreme Court to reverse the same-sex marriage ruling. Voting 46-24, the Idaho House passed House Joint Memorial 1, asking the Supreme Court to, quote, restore the natural definition of marriage, a union of one man and one woman. Wait, what are we looking at for natural or historical? Because throughout history, it was generally one man and many women. One man, three women, one concubine. I mean, what traditional definition are we going with, right? Because there's been a lot of them. Now, during her floor debate, the bill's sponsor, Republican Representative Heather Scott, said, quote, I would ask you to substitute any other issue and ask yourself, do I want the federal government creating rights for us, for Idahoans? Christians across the nation are being targeted. The Idaho Capital Sun reports. No, they're not, though. They're not. A gay couple getting married does not harm anyone. It doesn't harm Christians. Doesn't harm anyone. What is wrong with you? Like, why are gay people in your head? Why? Why are they there the whole time? I don't understand why they live in rent-free. I don't know. In Michigan, a Republican state lawmaker, Josh Shriver, introduced a resolution to condemn the Supreme Court's 2015 decision. The resolution states marriage has been defined through time by people of varying cultures and faiths as a union between one man and one woman. Obergefell arbitrarily and unjustly rejected this historical definition of marriage. This is a biological necessity to preserve and grow our human race. Because, 8 billion of us, apparently not enough. Hey, if you want more babies, why don't you make it economically advantageous to have a family? Instead of what we have right now, which is incredibly hostile to having kids. But here's what they're doing. They're just using this as an excuse to push gay people back in the closet. Okay? That's it. This is not about, trans people, right? No, it's about trying to erase all LGBTQ people, right? That's what all of this is about. Erasing all of them. That's it. There is no such thing as LGB without the T. And that's what a lot of these gay Republicans were saying. Like, oh yeah, no, we're you know what? We're the LGB without the T. That's right. We're just gonna abandon trans people because we're gonna be the good ones, and they're not gonna come after us. Oops, they came after you. Look, they're attacking one, specifically trans people, as a way to divide and conquer the community. It is the oldest trick in the book, and you have these gay Republicans who bought that hook, line, and sinker. They do think that no, we're the good ones. We're the good ones. The bigots will leave us alone. It's fine. They're not going to come for us. But they did. They did. It's that poem all over again. First they came for the transgender people, but I was not trans. Well, guess what? They're coming for you, just like they said they would. Okay. Oh, Jason, that's totally not fair. I did not actually abandon the channel. I've been posting on this channel the whole time. I just changed the name. That's it. So I don't know where that comes from. Kind of rude. Kind of rude. I just stopped going live, but I still posted content all the time. So. All right. We'll get to the next story here in a minute. Oh, coffee. It is the best. Tell me you didn't read Project 2025 yet, still voted for your own demise. Yeah, it's true. What I don't understand is why they're so bothered. I don't want to. If you don't want to marry someone of the same sex, don't. Yeah, it's true. But they're obsessed. They're obsessed. I didn't leave. I still posted videos all the time. I just didn't do the live stream, and I did know that I wasn't going to do live streams for a while. And I wasn't sure when and if I was coming back. And, well, fascism came to this country, and I felt obligated to come back. Anyway, let's move on. Okay, hold on here. A Virginia man is questioning his vote for President Donald Trump after he was detained by ICE. 38-year-old Genzi Machado was stopped and handcuffed by ICE in Manassas, Virginia on Wednesday, was headed to work with two other men. Wait a minute, I thought that the argument is, oh, they don't actually work. They're taking taxpayer money and they're living off the benefits and they're not working except when they're stealing the jobs. Ah, okay. Well, anyway, he was headed to work with two other men when ICE suddenly stopped him, surrounded his car, and came out of their own vehicles with the guns drawn as if, he's some sort of criminal. The officers then ordered him to turn off the car, give away his keys. The agents were looking for a completely different person, but because he looked Hispanic, they pulled him over. Ah, okay, gotcha. All right, great. Yeah. Now, he said, they didn't ask me for any ID. No, you looked Hispanic. That's enough for them. Okay. Now, he told the agent, he's like, hey, I got a Virginia driver's license. I've got a driver's license. It's a valid license. It shows that I'm a citizen. And the officer refused to even look. That's right. After that, he told me to get out of the car and then put handcuffs on me. They then, of course, interrogated him, to which he was saying the whole time, I'm an American citizen. I have proof. I'm an American citizen. What are you doing? He said, I told him I was an American citizen. And he looked at his other partner like, smiling, like saying, can you believe this guy? I can't believe this guy thinks he's an American citizen. No, you're a Hispanic. You're one of them. Look, I've known people like this. Okay. I've known people like this. They see a Hispanic person and immediately think, but you're a Mexican. No, I'm an American. No, you're a Mexican. No, I'm a citizen. What is wrong with you people? Oh, right. We know what's wrong with them.
The Republican Party's racist.
Yeah, that's right. And of course, there's a lot of people who are racist. Now, Machado, okay, was eventually released, but the two men that were with him going to work have not. They were taken into custody, right? Now, he was able to show his driver's license and prove that he was a citizen, but but he's like, I don't know why the other two were taken. I don't know why they were taken, and they shouldn't have taken me in the first place. Now, here's the irony, right? Machado, like a growing number of Latino Americans, voted for Donald Trump. He said, I voted for Trump last election, but because I thought it was going to be like going against the criminals. Not every Hispanic, Spanish lookalike. Yes. You don't get it. You don't get it, man. You do know that they think that every person who is not white is a criminal. Yeah. I don't understand how that there are people out there who did not get the memo. It is very plain to see.
The Republican Party's racist.
Very simple. It's very simple. And by the way, you look at people based on their words and their actions. The words and actions of Donald Trump and his administration are clearly racist. Now, he's starting to get it. He's starting to get it. He says, quote, they will assume that we are all illegals. Adding that he thought that the administration would go after the criminals. They're just following Hispanic people. Ding, ding, ding. And we have a freaking winner. Jesus. Here we go. Here we go. I mean, is anyone surprised? You shouldn't be surprised at this. Remember, this same government, by the way, and this was before Donald Trump, but also during Donald Trump, right? They would follow around Muslims after 9/11 in New York City, okay? And racially profiling them, okay? They've been racially profiling black people for a very long time, and they have been, and now they are racially profiling Hispanic people. But you don't understand. You understand? He promised to prioritize violent criminals. And despite that, that's not true. Okay, it was never true. I never believed a damn word of it. Nobody should have. And unsurprisingly, ICE is apprehending people who have nonviolent offenses or those who have not committed any crimes at all. Because that's what they said they were going to do. They made nearly 1,200 arrests on a single day in late January, only a week after Trump took office. Half of them didn't have any criminal records. That's it. Oh, but they're here illegally. That's a civil violation. Civil violation to be undocumented. That's not a felony. And by the way, it's also a misdemeanor to enter the country without inspection between the ports of entry or based on false statements. Misdemeanors. Okay? That's it. That's it. But none of it matters to Donald Trump. Okay? ICE, the white nationalists, they're in charge. They're running the show now. Okay? And that's it. And as a result, racial profiling has went way up. ICE raids have mistakenly taken U.S. citizens, including Native Americans, which is, again, the height of irony, but not at all surprising. Since Trump's first day in office, the Navajo Nation office has been flooded with calls from off-reservation tribal members who claim that they've been interrogated by ICE. The actual Native Americans getting harassed by ICE. You can't make this up. Other U.S. citizens reported being unfairly detained, including a military veteran. This veteran told NBC at the time that he suffered the indignity of having the legitimacy of his military documentation questioned. What about the troops? They don't care about the troops. They don't care about the troops. Never did. Never will. Look, this is what white supremacy looks like. I know. It's just right there. This was never about crime. This was never about illegals stealing taxpayer money or taking American jobs. No, this was only about demonizing immigrants. And you know what? You voted for that. You voted for that. You bought the fake crime stories about Venezuelan gangs taking over slumlord-owned apartment complexes. Hook, line, and sinker. You drunk the MAGA Kool-Aid and then handed the country over to a man who hates you. And now you got people who are suffering. You got people that are getting arrested and deported, being sent back to countries where they could die. They could be murdered by the regime. They don't care at all. No, he doesn't care, and MAGA doesn't care. These people don't care. And by the way, it's not just people who are here illegally, okay? You also have asylum seekers who came in the legal way. You got, people, Ukrainian refugees being deported. You have people with legal documentation that are being arrested, detained, and in some cases, being threatened with deportation. Doesn't matter. Again, you voted for the leopards. Don't be surprised that they came for your face. All right. President Donald Trump has a message for those who voted for him to bring down grocery prices. Shut up. Taken to Truth Social, yes, his nice little platform.
Truth Central.
The president shared an article from the Daily Caller, written by one Charles Kirkington III Jr. or something. Charlie Kirk. Now, this article was in the Daily Caller titled, "Shut Up About Egg Prices." Yes, just shut up, okay? Just shut your mouth. Don't talk about the egg, okay? Don't talk about it. Don't talk about it. Trump is saving consumers. What is he saving us? What is he saving us? Now, the article minimizes concerns about the increasing costs of eggs. The article concedes that a dozen currently costs around $7, up from just $2 in October. Now, Kirk downplays the growing inflation and tells voters just to stop whining about it. Just stop. Stop. The high price of eggs is in no way President Trump's fault, Kirk writes. Almost all the increase took place during Biden's final months in office. Now, here's the thing. He is correct that Trump does not control egg prices. But neither did Joe Biden. So blaming Biden for egg prices also doesn't make any sense. They don't control the price of eggs. Okay? It's not Biden's fault. It's not Trump's fault. You know what it is? It's bird flu. And in some cases, corporate greed. In fact, Mississippi-based Cal-Maine Foods had increased their profits by 7.5 times over the first year of the bird flu outbreak, despite not having outbreaks in their own flocks that fiscal year, according to a study by Food and Water Watch. The report says Cal-Maine Foods commanded prices from its buyers that were much higher than needed to cover rising costs at a time when national egg prices were skyrocketing. Oh, did they just use inflation and use the threat of bird flu to justify patting their own pockets? Weird. I never thought anybody would do that. Amanda Starbuck, research director for Food and Water Watch, said basically they just raised their prices and locked up with national prices. They had no reason to. Now, does Charlie Kirk talk about that in his article? No, he didn't. He didn't actually talk about corporate greed. Yeah. Instead, he's telling people, shut up about eggs. Donald Trump is already saving you money. Now, he cites Trump's press secretary, Carolyn Leavitt, telling reporters at one of her first briefings that Trump will adopt a, quote, whole of government economic approach that includes energy abundance, drill baby drill, tax cuts for the rich, deregulation, which helps corporations, and a host of other measures, none of which actually helps average people. Now, she did mention eliminating taxes on tips and on Social Security. Oh, and on overtime. As putting more money in Americans' pockets. Deporting illegal immigrants will drive up working class wages and drive down housing costs, which will put more money in everyday Americans' pockets. Trump's promise to drill baby drill will bring down the price of energy, lowering prices across the entire economy, and will put more money in Americans' pockets. Even tariffs, the Democrats forewarned, would make everything more expensive, could bring down prices by helping the U.S. secure more favorable trade deals. Wait, well, hold on here. The trade deal with Mexico and Canada was put in place by Donald Trump. He negotiated that trade deal that he is now calling very unfair. Wait, what? What? Yes, I know. But look, the Republicans just lied about no taxes on tips being in their budget. So that budget resolution sets up a reconciliation bill, which is essentially going to extend Trump's tax cuts worth and have new tax cuts worth $4.5 trillion over the next decade. The benefits of which would largely fall to the highest earners. So, yeah, not only that, but the tariffs have already cost Americans, especially farmers. They're losing out on markets thanks to retaliatory measures from Mexico and Canada. You got the bourbon, people in Kentucky, the alcohol brewer or makers that are having some problems. Canada pulled all U.S. booze off the shelves. The entire country. We're just gonna not sell U.S. alcohol at all. That's billions of dollars right there. Gone. So, yeah, congratulations. And it's also, all this stuff is pushing, or I should say, it's causing the markets to tank. Jobless claims are up. GDP has shrunk. Things are still more expensive as inflation has increased. So, yeah. But Kirk claims, no, Trump's already hard at work to deliver savings for American families. Where are they? Oh, right, they're not there. His latest plan, by the way, and I talked about this last week, to try to lower the price of eggs is to import eggs from other countries. Oops. Not a good plan. It's actually a terrible plan. And it's not working. So, no, he's not saving us money. He's driving the country off a cliff with all of us in the back seat. And then you got Charlie Kirk telling everybody to stop screaming. Don't worry, it'll be the best cliff. It'll be the greatest cliff. Okay? I know what I'm doing more than any of the other experts, more than anybody. I don't know, man. Maybe the guy who went bankrupt 6 times might not be the best steward of the economy. Yeah. All right. One more here, and let's go to Florida Man. We got the best people, the greatest people, the most tremendous people. A Florida man is finding out after he sent over 100 violent racist death threats to people over politics. Richard Glenn Cantwell was arrested last summer for using, of course, Facebook and Instagram to send more than 100 threats to over 40 individuals. According to federal prosecutors, Cantwell sent the threats to multiple political figures, a media personality, a pastor, an author, and an election official between September 2019 and July of 2020. He also sent more threats to 4 public figures between April of 2022 and April of 2024. So apparently he didn't have enough. Great. Now the FBI said that Cantwell had targeted specific individuals because of their political commentary and ran an, quote, almost year-long campaign of terror, sending messages written with racist and homophobic language, as well as praise for President Donald Trump. Because, of course, look, was who he voted for ever really in doubt? Like, you couldn't figure that one out? Okay. I think most of you got it. Okay. Now, according to court documents cited by WFLA, he wrote a message to a cable news channel threatening to kill a news correspondent and his family. I'm not going to read you the specific details of these threats because they are kind of graphic. All right. But he threatened to kidnap and murder children on multiple occasions, which is how very pro-life of you, threatening to murder children. He said every unkind word that this person has ever said about Donald Trump would be another slash in the necks of their children. So again, that's super graphic, everybody. In another personal message to a media personality, Cantwell threatened to make him and his wife watch as he cut out the heart of a child. So, I mean, again, it's horrifying, these threats, and very, very graphic, okay? And targeting children, which I thought, isn't MAGA supposed to be, protectors of children? That's what they keep saying all the time, right? No, we love children. We're going to protect children. Not so much, okay? Not so much. And a separate threat to another victim that he called a fake reverend and an antichrist POS, Cantwell wrote that he was going to torture and then murder that person. Great. You won't see Christ because you're an immoral degenerate, he wrote. Oh, the irony here. Just the total irony. Are you sure that they're the immoral one or immoral one? Okay. Now, in another message to a different victim, he wrote, cannot wait to shoot your ghetto expletive in the street. You will die like every other POS, basically. Another threat that he made talked about big black guys doing sexual assault. Yeah, I don't want to get into the details of that one. A different one said, so you, sir, are a degenerate POS. Read your article about the great Donald Trump. You are gay. Okay. I love what Trump does and where he stays. God bless the great President Trump and his family. F you and yours. Hire extra security. You're going to need it. I plan on effing you up just for the fun of it. Yeah. Yeah. Look, this got so bad. And just from the sampling that I read you, okay, yeah, these are bad. The FBI ended up getting involved. And in 2019, he admitted to federal agents that, yeah, I sent the threats. But you know what? I was just kidding. Guys. I'm a keyboard warrior. I go on verbal tirades. It's fine. I didn't actually mean any of this stuff. But you know what? You know why I got so mad and started sending these threats? It's because of the government. It's because of minorities. That's it. That's ultimately it's their fault for egging me on. They made me do it. Hey, that sounds a lot like an abuser, what they tell their victim. Look what you made me do. Look what you made me do. Why? Why would you make me do stuff like this? I don't understand. Stop making me threaten you. What? Now, despite being told by federal agents after that meeting, okay, look, you gotta cut this out. All right, this is not good. You can't do it. Just calm it down online, okay? Just calm it down. You can say whatever you want. You got free speech, but free speech does not extend to death threats. Okay, so stop doing that. Now, he doubled down because, of course, he did. In July of 2021, the FBI tried to call in Cantwell again for another interview, but he refused and said, "I'm not doing anything illegal." Making explicit death threats is absolutely illegal. He then texted 2 middle finger emojis to an FBI agent, writing "F you." Yes. Yes, of course. Hey, do you know what that sounds like? Sounds a lot like Cantwell was effing around. And is now finding out. Last November, Cantwell pleaded guilty to 4 counts of interstate transmission of a threat. Each charge carried a maximum of 5 years in prison. Now, he was ultimately, of course, not given that much, but sentenced to 2 years with time served, since he had already spent more than 8 months in jail following his arrest. He will be released from prison in a little more than a year and then serve 3 years under supervised release. Wow, they went really light on this guy. Cantwell must also pay a $10,000 fine and participate in mental health and substance abuse programs. Why substance abuse programs? Well, during a sentencing hearing, he was like, I know that I blamed the president and, former President Biden, and, I blamed minorities and the government. But you know what really happened? I was just hitting the sauce too hard. Oh. See, he attributed his behavior to his lifelong battle with alcohol and a relapse after the death of his father. Ah, so
Really?
okay. He also claimed that he was deceived. He was deceived, was he? By right-wing rhetoric. Here's a statement. I ignorantly jumped on the Trump train. I bit the bait hook, line and sinker, and I can't tell you why. I probably could. I am extremely remorseful for my actions. I count this as the biggest regret of my life. I would like to return to being a good Christian man. Oh, is that right? You would like? Okay. Yeah, you would like to do that. Isn't it weird how how many of these so-called good Christian men, and I'm not saying all of them, I'm saying some of them, right? Uh, go on to, end up supporting Donald Trump, and how some of them seem to want to threaten or even participate in violence. I mean, look at January 6th. I don't know. I just think we have a problem in this country with certain people. That said, in a sentencing memorandum, Cantwell's attorney did note that his client has lost his dental practice and will likely lose his license. To which I say, good. FAFO. I can't imagine being a client of his, or, and being a Democrat or a minority and feeling safe at all in that practice. So, good. I guess, you won't be able to, maybe he'll learn not to make those threats. And certainly no one will ever have to feel unsafe at his practice ever again. But this is a good example of how these people do indeed walk among us, and how, when it comes down to it, they're not the best people. Okay. Florida man who FAFO'd. That's right. All right. That's all I got for you today. So, apologies to anybody who's late, but you can go back and rewatch the show or wait for the clips. All right. Let me just go through some of the look at some of the comments here real quick before I go. Let's see. Let's see. Oh wow, that's terrible. I did not hear about Gabby. So I was wondering, what happened. That's terrible. Um, damn. Um, wow. So um, yeah. So that's a terrible way to end it on. But yeah, um, you know, like she was really a good person. So a great person. So I didn't know her personally, but you know, she was always super nice, and I did wonder because I'd see her in like some of the comments and stuff, and in the chats of some of the other shows, and it was just like, wow, um, that's really terrible. So anyway, I mean, I don't know. This is not a good time. It's we got fascism, we got Trump, and we have a feckless Democratic Party that is barely fighting against them. And so, like, this is what we have. Um, and I knew, the Trump administration, the second one was going to be bad, but yeah, it's far far worse than it is has been the first time. So, not good. When am I on next? 2 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow. So I'm trying to make it around 2 p.m. Eastern daily for the streams. So you know, we'll, we'll we'll see what happens if I can actually keep on a schedule for once. Um, if not, again, we'll be on around there around that time, and we'll do our best. I'll do my best. Um, she was indeed a fine person, a fine lady. So she will be missed. Absolutely. Um, all right. Anyway, um, that's that's all I got for you today. Please like and share the stream if you haven't already. Very important that you do so, that you help us out. And yeah, we will see you guys, and gals, back here hopefully tomorrow.